right, good morning, people. It's me again, another day, another dollar. Today I want to express gratitude because number one, it's not even 10 videos that I've done with you guys, and I already feel the need of being tomorrow to already make the next one. You know, like the habit is starting to implement itself. You know, like I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable with you guys, more and more comfortable with this platform, more comfortable to open up myself. And I just can't wait for the next day to start and to keep practicing, improving, getting better. So yes, habit works, guys. Consistency works. And that's it. So just feeling very grateful about this. Number two, this morning I had to go to do 4 fucking vaccines because I'm trying to do the paperwork for my green card. And I was missing some vaccines, etc. So I got 2 on that side, 2 on this one, and my body is fucking strong, man. I don't feel weak, I don't feel in pain, I don't feel dizzy. So just wanted to express gratitude for my healthy body, and that's it. It's in the mind. If the mind is strong, the body follows. So I just wanted to start the video with this today. Now, today we were talking about feels and things that make us feel vulnerable. It took me some time to be able to come up with something today. I even had to ask my wife some moments that she could recall about me feeling vulnerable, because I think that I always build this shell all around me to, in fact, trying to never be vulnerable and to never be into that state of mind. So here we are. I found 2 important topics that happened to me like these past few years. The first one that I'm gonna say, it's something which is very private. So not something that I'm necessarily proud of now. It's been since 2018, so now it's not like I give a shit anymore, and I've moved on this into my life. And the second one was a bit more recently, since I arrived to the US. So let's go with the first one. So back in the days, I told you guys I used to live in Singapore, right? For 2 years, I used to work for Spago by Wolfgang Puck, and I ended up not being comfortable in there. And I've been to Bali a couple of times, and I used to love the place, and I was planning somehow a move to Bali. I used to have an ex-girlfriend as well that used to be with me in Singapore, and we ended up for a trip. I left my job, I quit the job, hoping that I will find another one once I will be back from my European trip. I left for 3 weeks to a month back in Europe, and I ended up going in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, of course, we smoked a lot of weed. I bought a grinder, and on my final day of Europe, I realized I saw that dirty grinder, and I asked myself, what should I do with it? And stupid as I am, I decided to keep it as a souvenir, as a memory from that trip. And of course, I was supposed to fly back to Singapore, spend the night, and then fly over back to Bali to celebrate my dad's 60th birthday. So that was the whole plan. We're just supposed to have like a 1 night layover in our apartment, go to Bali for like a week or 10 days, and then come back to Singapore and look for another job. The only thing is that I'm the only motherfucker that got caught out of the entire plane, asked me to pass my baggage or my suitcase under the radar, under the x-rays. And these fuckers found a grinder. They put me in jail for like several hours, interview, blah, blah, blah. They forced me back to buy a flight back to Paris. And I got deported from the country, and I've never been able to come back to that country. So the trip was Paris, Istanbul, Singapore, back straight. So Singapore, Istanbul, Paris, escorted by the cops from A to Z with the fucking headcuffs on. And then my ex back in the days found me a flight from, I think it was Paris, Bangkok, Bali. So I arrived like 2 days later in Bali, and my whole world fell apart. You know, like what would I do? What a shame, the money spent, not being able to come back to Singapore, not having any plan, having all my belongings left in Singapore. Luckily, we were sharing an apartment, so I didn't have anything major under my name. But I was forced to stay in Bali. And, so I arrived without visa, overextended, impossible to find a work. And I told myself, listen, Lucas, you've been able to work for the biggest chef, the biggest hotel, the biggest restaurant around the world already. no problem with your qualifications. You're gonna find something to work. No way, impossible. Like, of course, I was too expensive. My standard didn't match the island life, so I stayed for nearly 4 to 5 months without working. Slowly fell into a depression, moving from hostels to Airbnbs to villas. Don't misunderstand me. I had an incredible life in Bali. My life was absolutely beautiful, and I have such a quality and privileged time. But it was just that I was at the same time depressing because I was useless. My whole qualifications, everything I ever fought for, my passion, this flame for the industry, like, it was absolutely useless. And this impacted a lot my confidence, my ego, my strength. Like, I was negative, like I closed myself up, and I could have enjoyed Bali experience much more if I had the right state of mind. And so that's why when I arrived to Hong Kong, like, I worked so fucking hard, because I also had something definitely to prove to myself. And I wanted to prove to myself that I wasn't a failure, that I was worth it, and that I had something to tell, something to share, something to give. And this is why, like, I took Hong Kong so deeply into my heart, at least in professional experience, and I involved myself so much, to make sure that, okay, I knew where I was going, and I knew what were my professional values. The second one, hold on, because I'm also arriving home at the same time. So the second one is when I arrived to the US. I already struggled for more than a year to find a way to get an entry door, to find a sponsor, a visa. So finally, after a year of research in South America, I finally find an employer. Perfect. I moved to Miami. I worked with them for 6 months. I was promised to be in charge of the new restaurant opening on South Beach. Amazing opportunity. And the first few months I realized that, oh shit, it wasn't for me. The culture, the mentality, the style of dining, like, it was all fucked up. Like, especially in Florida, like, employer is the king and employees can die. It was exactly this. Like, I was treated like a piece of shit. And in fact, while I was supposed to, or at least waiting for the opening of the new restaurant that I was supposed to be on charge, in fact, there was a flood and the restaurant never opened, right? So, what's the name? I got laid off like this, just clean cut, without any notice, boom. And so I was scared as fuck, because I was with a huge apartment in Miami without employment. My visa was attached to this employer only, so my whole world felt again. I said, what the fuck? Am I gonna have to leave the country? I'm illegal now, nobody wants to employ me, etc. So I did the last minute took the last minute decision to move to San Diego to join and meet my girlfriend at the time, now wife, of course. And I spent another 3 months just looking, like, not being very, very positive too, until I found finally a company that didn't really care if I had a visa or not, and this really helped me to get back up on my feet, to start making some income again, some savings, and to prepare for the next wave, So try to keep it as short and concise. The video is already at 8 minutes, but this is what I wanted to say, like, 2 big moments where I felt vulnerable in my life, where I thought that everything will stop, that I didn't have any more chance, opportunities, my ego got shot very severely. And of course, those stages are very hard in life, but they also teach so much. The life cannot be perfect. We're always gonna learn from those failures, and ultimately it's those failures that are making us stronger, more connected, more humble as well, and remind us that we're not the most powerful, and we have to get through those phases in life, to realize also what we have. Is something that, a very powerful punchline. They said, our nightmare is the dream of somebody else, and I think this is like a line, a metaphor, a punchline that I have very deeply inside me, to always stay grateful regardless. Even when I was working, it was my dream of having a job, to see the people who are coming, having an income and being able to have opportunities. And usually when we're working, we're complaining that we work so much, that our life is shit. We complain about our employers and the people all around us, and it's never good enough. So appreciate what you have, be grateful, ask for more, keep the head up, spread the positive all around you. And that's pretty much it, guys. That was the topic for today. So I wish you guys a beautiful Friday. The sky is blue, we keep shining, we keep pushing, and the sky is the limit, guys. See you on the next one.